35 runs. How do you feel about that?
Just overall, it's tough to keep the energy for a full day like that. And from the bench to the players on the field, you're just going to have lapses. And I thought we did a great job of continuing to keep pressure on them and have great at-bats. And just, it was just overall a good day.
Do you worry, I guess, after that first game, after that first game, did you worry about how guys would bounce back for the second game?
I've seen so many doubleheaders. You see a score like that, the next game it's 3-2. They forget that you have to reset and remember why you had success. And I thought our guys did a great job of that, and we got our energy back up. They just didn't, and it's tough too when you have a lot of guys come out of the game and they kind of shut off the engine, and then to crank it back up. But obviously they were prepared to do that.
Obviously it takes some, I don't know if you look at it this way, but it does take some pressure off your pitching staff. Do you look at it that way?
That might be the understatement of the year. Yeah. So
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, no, it just from an offensive standpoint, just to continue the pressure, and I think our guys understand that, we're going to have to put some runs on the board this year, and not just rely on, winning 4-3 like we've been pretty good at over the last few years. And, I really like the overall intensity at the plate. And I also like the fact that we got a lot of guys in there, and it looked like a lot of guys were hungry to get at-bats and put some good swings on, when they haven't had a lot of at-bats early on.
Was Engel kind of guy you were maybe hesitant to bring in? Was he maybe a midweek option, or was he?
Oh, he still is a midweek option. Okay. We just, right there, we're just hoping his pitch count doesn't get too high, where he can't come back on Wednesday. So, that's just, we were starting to have those conversations. But he's got to get his work, and he's got to get back out there and get comfortable. I mean, you can see he's still a little rough around the edges. The stuff's there, but the consistency's not quite where we need it to be. So, I think we kept his pitch count in a good spot, so he'll be available Wednesday.
When you look at the totality of the series, how big was that Alvarado start? I mean, did that lead into today, do you think?
Without a doubt. I mean, it sets up your bullpen a little bit more in an ideal situation with 2 games, and Fisher grinded through that as well, and maybe not having the greatest stuff, but still kept going and got us through most of it. But I mean, that was a big turning point in the series, especially after having what I would consider not a good baseball game the first game,
right.
And to bounce back and play pretty well, play really clean the next day, and it starts on the mound, and it keeps the defenders in rhythm. And then today it was just that was one of the better doubleheader days I've ever seen. You just rarely see a team keep that much pressure on them for two games in a row.
Going back to that first game, Fisher kind of pitched through some tough spots in the first couple innings there. What did he kind of show you today to bounce back from maybe his first couple starts the last few weekends?
Yeah, he just kept grinding, and he just you can see he's fighting himself a little bit. It's just he's not as sharp as he's been. Had zero command of his changeup, and that's his best pitch. And I did see a little bit better height on his fastballs, from time to time, so that was a good sign. But he's got a lot of experience. He's been there, and he made a couple of pitches when he had to, and that was very important. But yeah, you're doing the math on a long day. If he comes out in the second inning, well, it changes a lot of things for the day. But we're fortunate enough to let he grind it through for us.
An offensive outburst like this maybe have a carryover effect for some guys who've been looking for some positive results.
Yeah, it can also get you a little inflated ego too, where you think you're better than you really are. We have to remember what got us here, and right now, we have done a really good job for the most part this season of grinding out our at-bats, especially with 2 strikes, and we did that, and now we're finding some holes doing that, and we're doing a good job with early in the count of getting our swings off as well. So, remember that's what we were doing, and now the results are coming, but that's what we want to do all the time.
What's different about Wilkening this year at the plate versus maybe his first 2 years?
Just growing up as a person. He's handling the mental side of it better. I mean, we saw him in high school in his first year here. I remember his first BP. I was like, that's about as pretty as a swing that you're going to see. But he just got in his own way. He's trying to do too much, maybe a little bit of self-doubt in there, and then all of a sudden you get a little older, and you can just see the way he handles the pitchers, and he's just grown up.
What's your takeaway from Warren's performance?
A lot of room for improvement. I'm being a little patient with him just because he hasn't pitched pretty much for 2 years, and he's looking okay early on, and he's really dropping off with his stuff in about the 4th and 5th inning. last couple starts. He says he feels fine, but we got to build that stamina up a little bit more because he's really getting in some tough situations there in that 4th or 5th inning. As we roll along here, that's not going to cut it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Darin.
Yep.